Cool, so here are our snow people. I might go back to what the tutorial has, which is just 2 snow people, but we are about to animate them so that they can move. I don't know if you've played a video game lately, but generally in most games, at least something in the game can move. Sorry, I'll just close this. There we go. So it's very rare that you play a game that only shows one picture the entire duration of the game and never changes. That doesn't sound very fun. So let's make it so it at least moves. We already have the power to do that because this is a function. You can choose where to move the snow person. So what we will do, we need to move all of our drawing code in our main function to a new function. So some of the stuff here, like this, should only run once, yeah? Opening a window should run once at the start of the game. I don't know if you've played a computer game that has an FPS overlay in a game that shows the number of frames per second. I don't know, have you ever seen that? 184 frames per second in a game? Or it tells you how fast the game is running. Well, that means that it's drawing it, in this case, 60 times per second. It's doing all the drawing of the snow people. And some things we want to do 60 times per second. Drawing the snow people, drawing the grass, but we don't want to open a new window 60 times per second. So let's move some things into a new function called def on draw. Do you notice that I don't just copy and paste giant bits of code? It's best if you write it yourself, so then you can get practice with debugging your own programs and writing your own programs. We can give this a description, draw everything. And what will we need to do? So the things we will need to do, I'll just group it to show. I will need these 4 lines here. So I can cut them with Control X and paste them here, or Command X on a Mac. And now, instead of running this onDraw function just once, which I could do, I will show you how that works, and you should run this and check that this works. Run it once. Yes, good, still works, excellent. I want to run it over and over and over and over again. So to do that, I can run a function called arcade.schedule. And I want to run the function called onDraw. Get rid of the brackets, because we're not going to run it once. We're going to pass this function into a schedule. So get rid of the brackets, and we want to run it every 60th of a second. This second function, I should say, is the number of seconds. And we want 1/60th of a second. So we get that sputtery smooth 60 frames per second goodness. OnDraw. Oh, I forgot that OnDraw actually does take one parameter that we don't have to worry about for now. But it does take a parameter called delta time. OnDraw takes 0 positional arguments, but 1 was given. I'm curious, if I were to copy that and paste that in here, sometimes you get useful results, but not in that case. All right, good. Now, a question for you. Do you think that this is running 60 times per second? Is it really drawing a snowman 60 times per second? It's hard to tell, isn't it? So what I might do, just to help us figure out what's going on, after we've drawn the snow person, the 2 snow people actually, let's print a message saying, drew the picture. Or any message, just so we know what's going on. Print will print it down here in the terminal, and then we can see if it's happening just once or lots of times. Yes! Look, it's printing it many, many times per second. Okay, so nothing will move, but it'll still run. Good. Add variable to control where we draw our item. So we want to draw it in one position, then the next position. So actually like how they've done it here, but that's okay. I'll do it that way. So the way Paul Craven is doing it here is just for one of them, instead of having it at this X position, he's going to have, you know what? I won't even do it the way he's doing it. I'm going to do it my way. Snow person 1 X. So it'll be at, instead of just 150, that number, now it's a variable. And this variable could be any number. I need to tell the computer what that number is. So I might say that that number is, I don't know, 150. Yeah. So first it's 150, and then here, because it's 150, that will be 150. It'll replace it when the program runs. Seems to be the same. Let's change it up here to 550. Hey, he moved. Good. Maybe instead of printing drew the picture, I might print something a bit more useful to me. I'll print what that number is. And that number is 550. Now you might think, well, we could have done that just by writing the number here. But by having it in a variable, it's so flexible. I could change the variable. I could say that this variable, just like is done here, plus equals 1, which means add 1 to that variable. Now it comes up with an error about some local variable, a variable that's just within this function. This variable isn't in a function, is it? It's outside of this function, outside of this function. It's just by itself. It's a global variable. I'll put it at the front. This won't change, at the top I say. This won't change the program at all, but just to make it easier for people looking at the code to find these global variables, and to show that this is a global variable, Python gets confused here that I'm changing this global variable, and I'm going to say, yes, that is a global variable. I really want to change that global variable. So if you do want to change something, a variable that's outside the function, or use a variable that's outside the function, you can say global space and then name of that variable. Something funky has happened here. It's not running my program at all. I might just press the bin on it and run it again. There we go, that's fixed. It's animated! The snowman moves! Ah, very cool. Bye, snowman! Bye, snowman! Goodbye, viewers. Like, share, subscribe!